Welcome to the Top 10 Garden Show with Ken Lain. Listen to Ken's tips, tricks, and garden shortcuts guaranteed to make your gardens more beautiful than ever this year. Now, welcome your host, Ken Lain.
A joy of mine is finding folks new to this kind of, they're gardeners, maybe down in Phoenix or desert, more tropical, Palm Springs, Southern California. They're new to 4-season gardening. And they come in and they're going, oh, I'm used to palm trees and figs and things down there, but I'm not sure what's up here, but I know I want one plant. It's that tree. I'm not sure what it is. It's evergreen. It's got a pine needle, has this layering, and they're describing it looks like a Christmas tree. Going, a spruce tree, a Colorado spruce? Going, yeah, that's it. They're so excited about this Christmas tree looking plant out in the yard. They see them in their neighborhood and they want one themselves, but they're not sure how to describe it. We've got spruce mountains. Spruce grow wild on the higher ridge lines here in the mountains of Arizona. They do really well. And so you can have one yourself. Get it up there and it will eventually naturalize and go by itself. But I think they do better. They grow better, thicker, fuller, better color when you add them to your drip irrigation system. You don't have to, if you're going to kill an evergreen, it will be from overwatering, not from underwatering. So if in doubt, treat them with neglect, think bad thoughts, kick dirt at them, curse at them. They'll probably grow better for you. If you're going to overcare your spruce tree, Arizona cypress, it's a native, grows wild here. It's desired all in botanical gardens all around the planet, but it originated from right here. It's going to naturalize and go by itself. If you're going to overwater it, we probably have some better choices for you. I mean, aspens take more water, maples take more water, fruit trees, not Arizona cypress, not Colorado spruce, not pine trees, even Austrian pines, ponderosa pines, pinyon pines. We have all those, but they're kind of sensitive to wet feet. They need oxygen down around the root zones. That's why they make such good living Christmas trees or holiday trees. So a lot of folks will take them, put them on the back deck. They'll decorate them. They'll put a saucer underneath the bucket, and they just use it as a decor thing out there on their front entrance. And then they fully intend to plant it out in the yard after the holidays. You can easily do that because they're so robust. They're not using a lot of moisture right now. So we're watering our trees here at the garden center about once a week in the bucket. And the way we do it is we'll take a hose, we'll water the roots of that tree until we see water coming out the bottom of the bucket. And we go, oh, we're done. And then we're done for a week. Maybe 10 days we'll get in there. So you could easily do that and then enjoy it by the front door. Arizona, Alberta spruce, #1 selling spruce tree. It's a short little spruce, very short needle, very thick. It's got this perfect shape. It looks like it's been pruned exactly like a cookie cutter Christmas tree. They're used at the front door in containers, raised beds. It's just cute. And so we sell a lot of them and they don't get very big. So Alberta spruce gets, maybe if you let it grow for 15 years, might get as tall as you and I. And they're short. That's why they're so perfect in those pillars at your front door. If you have a little garden space or a container, you go in there, they could stay there for years and years and years. They look cute, little ribbons, little decorative clear lights. They just scream holidays. So at the garden center, we put little bows on them and we make them look holiday-ish. They would love to be by your front door. Enjoy it, water it once a week, and then go plant it out in that raised bed later. It would be fine with that. They go down to minus 40 degrees, I think maybe 50 degrees, some crazy cold we'll never see. And so they've got plenty of antifreeze in the structure of these. Most pine trees have plenty of antifreeze to keep them from freezing, as long as you keep them moist, but not too moist. That's the secret. So some of you folks, your hobby is not gardening. Your hobby, even now, you love going out there with the hose and watering things, making sure they're good. Be careful this time of year. It's very easy to overwater things because plants are starting to shut down. It's not as warm. The days are shorter. The nights are cooler. It's easy to get too much moisture. So if you're still treating them like you were a month ago, that might be too much moisture. So we're starting at the Lain house, we are starting to throttle back our irrigation. So I think my established trees and shrubs, things that have been in for a while, big junipers, big maples, big plants, we're watering every 10 days. And I'll back that off to every 14 days or so. I'm still watering, but not very often. So I'm still watering the same amount. So the valve, the time frame, I'm still watering for an hour and a half when I have the system cycle. I'm just playing with the how often, what's the frequency do I play with? So the same amount goes on every time, but I've backed it off from every 7 days, every 10 days, and probably first part of December, I'll back it off to every 14 days. That's trees and shrubs. Now, my lower growing things, my flowers and my containers, my pansies at the front door, oh, those are in containers and they're shallower rooted things. Those I'm watering every 3 or 4 days. Not as much. In June, I was watering them every day and they would still get kind of wilty. Now, the pressure's off. So just be careful not to overwater. But things you can use that are holiday-ish, trees that look like a Christmas tree. That one, a couple customers this week said, "Here's what I want." Those are Colorado spruce. Actually, that's the native one. If it has the word spruce in it, you know you got a good plant. It's going to grow in the mountains. It's made for the mountains of Arizona. Now, what happens is we'll have a name in front. So Baccarat spruce or hoop-size spruce or baby blue spruce. They're all spruce. What we're doing is we're breeding, we're developing, creating new types of spruce trees that bring out, maybe it's a Fed Albert spruce. It's a Colorado spruce that's dwarfed. So instead of getting 50, 60 feet tall, it gets 18, 20 feet tall. Now you can have a spruce tree that looks like a Colorado spruce, but doesn't get ginormous. It's not going to overgrow that smaller backyard. So Baccarat spruce, it's a Colorado spruce with intense silver blue. Gets the same size, but has a deeper, richer color. You've got baby blue spruce, rich color, small footprint, tighter, fuller. So it's the cousin of a Colorado spruce, but it stays smaller and thicker, fuller and bluer. So we're bringing out characteristics of that spruce family. And so you get this very desirable look to it. And so as you shop them, you'll be going, "Oh, really, I'm drawn to that one. I can't look how pretty that is." They'll call to you. But the traditional one, the one that grows wild here, that's Colorado spruce. I know it's in Arizona. I would rename it and call it an Arizona spruce, but it's all the same. This lower part of the Rockies, that's the spruce tree that grows. Pine trees the same way. So everyone wants a ponderosa pine, but I wouldn't have one of those in my yard. It's basically a trunk sitting out there at the side patio. There's a better one called Austrian pine that has the same long needle, but it holds its foliage right down to the ground. Much, much better as a landscape specimen, pretty tree. You get the same long needle, same rich green, thick look to it, but it holds its foliage better and it's not as trashy. Ponderosas they're always throwing things, they're always throwing trash into the yard. Austrian pines, they don't do that. Vanderwolf pine, it's also related to that whole pinus, the whole ponderosa pine series, but it's got a real blue color to it. Actually, the top of the needle is blue, the bottom is white. So it gives it this really interesting, soft look to it. Those can all be planted now. They can be decorated. Easily keep it in the pot, used for the next month through the holidays, then plant it in January. They'll love that. They'll be fine with that. Just keep them, water them, some, but not too much. So about once every 4, 5, 6, 7 days is enough in the bucket. And once you get it in the yard and you plant it out in the gardens, in the landscape, once a couple times a month is more than enough to keep that thing happy. Then you're going to get this tremendous growth next March, April, typically sometime in there, whenever spring hits, you get this new growth and it'll look like a fabulous new plant. You can have a evergreen tree used for the holidays. So for Christmas tree, you can have a living tree that's planted later out in the yard. your yard. Got more in store for you. Be right back after this. Waters Garden companion plants for November are Vanderwolf pine, flowering pear, English ivy, and camellias.
Ice Angel camellias produce amazing 3-inch rosy blossoms with petals that radiate out from the center of.
Camellias deserve front yard status or admired on a patio or deck.
Well adapted to acidic soils beneath oaks, native junipers, and maples.
Loves shade gardens, containers, and raised beds.
Shop in-store or online at watersgardencenter.com. You're listening to garden expert Ken Lain. He can be found throughout the week at Waters Garden Center in Prescott. Thanks for tuning in to the Top 10 Garden Show.